Oh, hey there. I'm just enjoying this delicious smoothie, and my good friend Jeese Bogdanovich from the Whole Lifestyle is going to be joining me pretty soon. We got a pretty hot topic. Yeah, what's going on, Jeese? Both Jeese and I are part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. He has contributed his course with his wife Reny, Autopilot Your Raw Vegan Success. And we're going to get into a really hot topic today, the number one secret to longevity and health in the raw vegan lifestyle. Yeah, it's a big one. It's a buzz one. This is going to be lots of fun. Really stoked to bring Jeese back. You know, we've been friends for a long time. I went out to his place. We did a raw food cruise, the very first raw food cruise together years ago, and, you know, met up all over the place. He's like another brother to me. So we're going to invite him on here. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you guys really enjoy this talk with Jeese and I. You can ask a bunch of questions, and if they're pertinent to what we're talking about in the moment, we'll go into them, but otherwise we'll save some of the Q&A to the very end. I'm just going to see if Jeese can request to join me, or let's see, otherwise how can I get him in here? Invite to join. There we go. Bundle is back only one time per year. Just maybe another year until it comes back. What's going on, Jeese? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. And just so you guys know too, both of us have amazing resources in the bundle. There's over 40 resources in the bundle right now. It's only available until the 11th. You can grab it in Jesse's profile at The Whole Lifestyle. If you're not already following Jeese, it's about time that you do. And otherwise you can get in mine if you like. But Jeese, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Here's our little one.
Oh,
She's
hey,
not so
Lily.
little anymore.
You're so big and your eyes are so bright and blue. Hello.
Say hi. Say hi to Uncle Chris.
How you doing?
Hi, Chris.
Hello. Hey, Reny.
Sweet. Happy.
How you guys doing?
Healthy.
Awesome. I feel like I should put my hair down. I want to match you, you know, look a little bit biblical
good.
together. There we go. There we go. Nice. I got this big smoothie, so we'll be taking little sips here and there. If anyone can guess this smoothie, they win a big prize.
All right, you gonna go see Mama?
So good. How you doing, Lily? How's it going? Hello. Aw. So good to see you.
Great.
So how you doing, man?
So
what's going on?
This bundle, so honored to be here to share with everybody again and help people out. That's what I live for. You know, after healing my own body and surviving and all that crazy stuff that happened, I'm just here of service, and I want to, you know, spread this message to people who are open to it and watch this beautiful world just be blissful.
Absolutely, yeah. If you guys haven't connected with Jeese before, he's been a grandfather in the raw food movement, really, almost here. I mean, not quite grandfather yet, but you've been around for a long time, over 20 years into raw food, and over 25, and healed yourself from a really troublesome spot, which we've went into some other interviews. But you know, yeah, man, you're definitely inspiration and a help to so many people. I know you do a lot of consultations, and you know, your course is a part of the bundle here, and you know, you have a lot of other amazing stuff with The Whole Lifestyle. What motivated yourself and Reny to create this new course, Autopilot Your Raw Vegan Success?
A lot of our coaching clients were running into certain issues and things, so we wanted to dive into some of the most common things and create that and help them just get a jump start. You know, we're all the time upgrading our programs, creating more stuff online, because, you know, I talk to several thousand people, and if I have to repeat everything over and over again, it takes away from my time and mission. And my mission is to help as many as possible while I'm still here, you know. So I really want this to go big, and to, when you have an online class, I mean, it's unlimited how many people can watch it, but one-on-one, I can only do so many, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's very commendable and amazing, and I know that you really live that and teach what you preach, you know, so it's really awesome to see you doing that. And you know, it was really fun being a part of the cruises in the years past, and meeting up at the festivals where you've done lectures and a whole bunch of other stuff.
We can do another cruise one day. Yeah,
that'd be cool, man. Yeah, you're out in Croatia, if anyone doesn't know, and beautiful, beautiful out there, man. Like the crystal clear blue water, and you know, just all the history there, and the architecture and the nature there is just,
Yeah, you guys
it's
got to
amazing.
check
You're in
it
a
out.
really
If you're
sweet
ever
spot.
coming to Europe, or if you're in Europe, take a vacation in Croatia. You'll be impressed. Pretty good fruit, beautiful
Yeah.
seas, lots of hiking, lots of nature, waterfalls. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah, some of the
They're
best
coming
mulberries
up.
I've
They're
ever
coming
had in my
up.
life.
And fig season in
Mm,
August. If someone's going to come,
none.
I would recommend probably late July, August. It's really hot. There's lots of people around, but the figs
Yeah.
are to live for.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when we were there at the cruise, the figs were just kind
Yeah.
of coming in, and we got some of the early figs, and they were ridiculously good. And then also
Yeah.
fresh carob pods right off the tree, which is a treat that not a lot of people understand. You can just eat the pods when
Yeah,
they're really, really
absolutely.
fresh
Yeah,
and
we
tender,
actually live
right?
in a carob orchard, so our house is surrounded by carob trees, and Lily's all like, carob, carob, and points up, and I pick her one and she chews. They're kind of very chewy and hard, so it's developing her jaw nicely. It's beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
good. And that's a good point. You know, I think a lot of times people get into raw food and they, you know, they focus on the fruits and like really, really tender greens and stuff. And there's definitely a lot of benefit to having some crunchier stuff, hey, like those carob and some
Absolutely.
root
Yeah,
vegetables and
absolutely. Yeah,
heartier
if you want
foods,
to have
hey.
a strong teeth, strong jaw, you
I'm
got to
curious.
chew, and
Do you
especially
know
early
is
on in life. The more you do that, the wider the jaw gets. There's so much to it. That's why I named it the whole lifestyle, so I'm not stuck in one little genre of it. I'm just like a lifestyle geek, and I love it all. I love everything. I'm just blown away and so grateful and thankful for this path, for saving my life and helping so many people that come across me, and our information that we share. It's just a beautiful thing. I just love it. If we could all just help someone, I know all of you out there
it's
listening, you all have beautiful stories and things that happen in your life. And if you share that with others, you can just make a difference. That's what we're here for. We're here to spread the message, to make the world a better place, save the animals, and also save the beautiful people. I've seen so many family members, so many relatives, so many people in our community. We're like a little community here, and I see so many lovely people who are getting in their
yeah.
70s and 80s and they're passing away, and that doesn't have to be that way. You know, you look at Fred Bishy,
Mm-mm.
Lou Corona, Annette Larkins, I think that's
Mhm.
her name, and she's like 80 now. She
Mhm.
just turned 80, and she's like walking,
Yeah.
what is it, like 15K a day and all this stuff. So it's amazing what people can do. Yeah.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
Doug
sweet.
Graham, a part of the bundle this time
Yeah.
too, and he's in his 70s now, and he's outlifting me, man. It's crazy, you know. Like I'm actually a bigger physical guy than him, you know, but it's really crazy, and it's beautiful to see that, you know, we can definitely prevent and reverse degenerative diseases, and that, you know, sickness is actually a choice. It's just a lot of people aren't aware of it. That's the troubling thing, that a lot of people don't equate that what you put in your mouth brings about certain situations in your body, but it's really astounding. And as your handle and your website kind of goes into the whole lifestyle, it's
Exactly.
not just about what we put in our mouth, but there's a whole bunch more to it. And with that, I'd like to segue in a little bit. I know, you know, you have your course, of course, but your course, of course, autopiloting raw vegan, autopiloting success. What are some of the key aspects,
Yeah.
and not necessarily going into detail, but what are a couple of the key aspects that you're going to go a little bit deeper
Well, there's a
into
lot in there. I mean,
in
to
your
be
course?
honest, I was kind of behind the scenes. I'm, watching Lily. Reny was doing the recording. She was asking for certain tips
Yeah.
and stuff, and I kind of overlooked everything. So there's a lot in there, but I also want to give a lot here because these lives are important. I'm so happy to share that. And, for people to
Yeah.
succeed long term, I got a quick little list in my head that I can share with people to, get them going and doing it long term.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Blessed, man. Absolutely blessed. You know, I'm a firm believer in that as
Yeah.
well, of just like putting it all out there, right? Just sharing abundantly, because you never know, someone might just see this video, that's it, you know, of us. And, you know, if you can give as much impactful information that they can apply to their life, is the biggest gift you can ever give. And what did it take? It just took you being expansive and knowing that everything you put out there comes back in multitudes of ways,
Exactly,
right? In
exactly. I mean,
multitudes
there's
of
many
ways.
times where people were running into little health challenges and they sent me a quick message or they saw one of my posts on social media and they're like, oh wow, that actually saved my life, or that prevented me from having that operation or whatever it was at the time. So it's just, like I said, this is my passion. This is why I do it. I'm totally happy to be, you know, hidden in the woodwork in my little, you know, garden and everything, and not out there. But I mean, the world needs us. The world needs all of us. And even all of you there listening, the world needs you to stand up, save your family, save your relatives, your friends. And, you know, we got to fight for our beautiful planet. We got to make things green and echo and, you know, live naturally.
Oh, bear with girl, absolutely. You know, it's like we have such an opportunity. You know, we just have such an opportunity to shine our light and help others, right? To be somebody who's at the front, right? And all it takes is a conscious decision. It just takes actually saying, you know what, I'm going to give an F, right? I'm going to actually care about myself, and I'm going to show myself love in thought, word, and action. And, you know, feeding yourself amazing foods, that's love in action. You know, getting enough sleep, that's love in action, right? There's so many ways. So let's dive in. You said you have a bit of a laundry list, so let's try and hit one at a time and really go as deep into it as you like. And, you know, if people have questions about what we're talking about in the moment, feel free to write them in there. And if you have other questions afterwards, let's keep that a little bit to the end. Spicy boy, I like that name.
So firstly, you know, you want to like surround yourself with the right kind of people. So many times I get clients who are like the only one in the family who's doing this beautiful lifestyle, and they feel all alone, and they don't last very long because everyone else is influencing them. So right away, what I tell people is to get on Instagram, especially because people are posting all these beautiful recipes, and surround yourself with people. When I get new clients, I go check out their Instagram and Facebook, and I notice they don't have anybody who's like a raw vegan on there or eating this way. So I say, load up, go around and check some of the cool people out. I recommend you all the time, and others in the movement, you know, and I say, hey, go follow these guys and check out, they're posting all kinds of tips and great things. So that's number one, you know, you want to have that. Yeah.
Let's stay there for a second, because that is huge, you know. And, you know, community is enormous, and we're so dang blessed to have this ability to connect with each other across the country here, and to be able to connect with anyone around the world. And, you know, whether it's in your community, starting a fruit luck or a potluck, or, you know, just like a meetup for vegans or raw vegans, just people who are on a healthy path, makes a world of difference. And I want to mention, I mean, we already talked about the cruise, right? But there's also lots of other raw food events around the world, and those are great ways to connect and meet with people who are like-minded, make lifelong friends that become pen pals. But what is it now? It's not a pen pal. Is it like a type pal? I don't know, because, you know, we're not using a pen anymore. But just to mention, actually, Ronnie Smith, who's a creator of the UK Fruit Festival, who was first inspired from the Woodstock Fruit Festival, he has a book in the bundle that is all about the different festivals for 2023 around the world, as well as the history of different fruit festivals around the world. And it's a thick book, you know, it's like, it's pretty amazing. There's a lot of festivals and information out there to help you find your community. So I echoed that, man. That's so important to be connected and become a bright light.
That builds it up, because I mean, who we hang around is who we become. And just like I said just a few minutes ago, earlier, it's just like when people don't have anyone that are on the same path, it's like they start to lose their motivation. If they don't have that, you know, strong mindset, or if they don't have like an illness where it was life and death situation like I had. For me, I didn't care who was doing it. I just needed to find one person, you know, doing it, and going and meeting them and going, wow, you know, you see that energy, you look at their bright eyes, you can feel the vibration coming off them if you're really sensitive, you know. And to me, that was mind blowing, you know. Read a book, you know, read book.
That's what
look at all these YouTube videos. I mean, there's the resources now are so much better than when I first started. Back then, there was like, go to the library. Internet was just kind of, sort of starting. I mean, those little dial-up modems, and there wasn't not much out there at all, you know. So it's just like,
no, and most of it was probably older people who had healed from illness, or people who, you know, like, it wasn't necessarily just like a super huge vitality fitness kind of movement. It was like a healing movement to recover from you know, major illnesses. That's huge, man. No, I mean, you've been around the block and you've seen it all, right? You've seen it all. So I think this
the longer
is really
you go, the
valuable.
better it gets. I mean, I'm just as passionate as I was on the first day. you know, when you do the right things, when you get the balance, like we're going to talk about a little later, when you get all these things in a line, you just feel so happy, so bubbly. It doesn't matter. Like I go to my relative's house and they all have their, you know, meals that are meat based and this and that. And I'm eating my salad and my fruits and they're like laughing at me. But now who's laughing now? They're like got all these health problems. They're on medication. They're going downhill. Some of them have left the planet, sadly. And it's a really sad mess, you know? So now people take me serious because they saw me before. I was like skin and bones, green color skin. I mean, I was just falling apart, just, you know, not seeing this. And sadly, my awareness was not up. And that's another one, is that you got to have your awareness up. When you have a health challenge, when you have any challenge in life, you need to really go and research it and get multiple opinions. Don't just go to like a doctor and the doctor says, oh, you're going to die, and listen to that, you know, or the doctor says, you got to cut this out. Go and get 3 or 4 or 5 opinions. I mean, it's your beautiful body, your temple. You know, don't let someone destroy it, because once something like that happens, it's very hard to keep your health going. And also I wanted to encourage people that are young out there. This is the beautiful time. I started when I was 21 on this path. And, you know, I wish I would have started even earlier. So the earlier you start, the better it is, you know, but it's never too late. I've had a client who was 95 at the time and went raw. And by 97, he was dancing and getting up, and his knee was healed. His eyesight was getting better, and all these amazing things started happening. So it's never too late, but the earlier you start, the better. And also,
never too late and never too early. I mean, you guys are an example of that with Lily, you know, being raw vegan since many decades before conception, you know? So, oh, hopefully,
I don't know why
Jesse. Oh, there you are. You're still there. Yeah, you're still there. You know, that makes me think of one thing that I think is really poignant to add on to what you mentioned here is, you know, you might get information from a doctor, fear-based information, you know, like you're gonna this and you need to do this, and it's like coming from contraction and fear, and like that's not really a healthful motivator, you know, coming from fear and contraction. Instead, moving towards, you know, moving with love, you know, having that as the central theme. Like, I want to grow in love of myself. I want to grow in love of the planet, of the animals, of all these things, and moving with that as a main motivator for your choices. And also, rather than
I wanted to say, you know, I'm not against doctors, and I think everyone has to find the right balance in there, because I see people who go off the deep end and they're like, oh, doctors are bad, you know, all this stuff is not good, and then they just try to do everything themselves without the experience, without the knowledge, and they don't make it, you know. So you have to weigh in things, you know. It's just like a lot of people also think like, oh, we're eating this natural, you know, raw vegan diet now, maybe I should just go live in the woods without anything. And next, you know, that doesn't work either, because we are living in this man-made world, and we have to find a balance, you know. So if you build like a house, you want to try to build it eco. We're like off grid, we're solar, we're doing, you know, as much natural things as we can to preserve our beautiful planet. And if everyone does that, that will make a huge difference. And it just takes one person. If just one of you gets some things from here and you take that home and you start working on it, you're just going to expand. So it's really cool.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you never know your impact, right? Like, one word, one action, you know, someone seeing you eat fruit, you know, at a meal instead of eating what everyone else is eating at the barbecue, you know, those things can actually really reverberate and really connect with people on different levels. And you never notice.
And it's important to be kind to everyone too, because if you push, you know, your lifestyle beliefs on people, then they run away. I did that in the very beginning, in the first year, and my friends like went up into the hills, you know, and then I learned after that's like, no, if the message resonates in your heart and it's not like in your ego and your brain, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. Like, honestly, I don't really care what other people do. It's just that I feel sorry when someone doesn't know this information and they start getting sick and unhappy, unwell, and depressed, and then go down this, you know, dark hole. And I was there. And if I would have known this back in the, you know, earlier days, I would be even healthier and happier, you know. So it's really cool to be able to share this and help people, you know, get this information and dial it in, because it's very simple, but there's a lot to it. But if you distill it down and you get, you know, your information from experts and you learn the stuff, it doesn't take much actually at the end of the day. You just got to keep moving forward. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It is, that's what it's all about, is moving forward and having a goal in mind and having a clear vision of, what your life looks like, you want it to be, and just marching towards that, right? Applying the different aspects of the
absolutely.
whole lifestyle
Yeah, and
one at a
another one
time.
is,
Yeah, awareness.
yeah, another one is fitness, because I see a lot of
Abs-
people, they're like, oh, I'm eating healthy. Yeah, and they don't need fitness, or they're not into it. And if we don't move our body, the lymph system doesn't move. We don't feel happy. We don't get those feel good hormones that are naturally running through our body. So we need to get fitness in. And, I do like a lot of hiking, walking, biking, bouncing on the rebounder, taking Lily for walks 4 times a day. Just keep that body moving, because, if we don't move it, we lose it. And it's true. I see so many people who are like really sedentary and they don't move much, and then they can't actually go move. They're like out of breath, or they find out that their joints are going bad. I mean, we need that smacking on the ground so that synovial fluid will come out of our joints, and we'll feel good and free. I mean, I'm so
Absolutely.
blessed. No aches, no pain, no health problems whatsoever. I go and do, tests at the doctor and everything to make sure. And just every time they're shocked, if I tell them, if they're kind of curious what I'm doing, I tell them a little bit and they're like, whoa, before you, we wouldn't believe that it could be done. And they do my blood tests and stuff, and they see everything. They're like, yeah, it's good. you know? Yeah, that is.
It's so awesome, right? It's just like an
Yeah,
extra level of reassurance, and often it just helps people too who are, they don't live the lifestyle, they don't necessarily believe in it, or they question it, but to have that as an extra kind of
yeah,
like, yep, kind of check mark, it's
yeah.
pretty huge. I've had the exact same experience too, going to my family doctor and getting blood work over the years, and him being completely impressed and blown away, even changing his own lifestyle and recommending other people towards me from my actual PhD doctor. Is pretty awesome
Beautiful.
to see
Beautiful.
that kind
Yeah,
of thing
it's
happen.
getting out there more and more. It's like every year there's bundles, there's some kind of new raw food event happening. So it's slowly getting out there again. So it's nice to see. And
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's gone through a bunch of
yeah,
stages over the last
yeah,
20 years, right? From being more popular and less popular, or more popular, then shifting and changing. And it's but I think just general awareness is definitely growing in terms of health creation and the power of whole foods and fruits and vegetables, and that we don't need to be afraid of fruit. That's a blessing. And that vegetables and greens are a big
absolutely.
healthy part of the lifestyle. Um, I know that you like a lot of vegetables as well as a lot of fruit. Has your diet changed a lot over the last
Not too much.
20
Actually, I just
years,
want to say
25
one
years?
more thing about fitness, like walking. Walking is very healing, and sitting kills if you do excess sitting, So the minimum is like 10,000 steps. And then I look at these people who are 80, 90, and 100, and they're doing 14,000 to 15,000 steps. So like the minimum is 10,000
Wow.
steps, and I find that to be right around true. I mean, my body's really, I'm in tune with it. And as soon as I hit like a certain level of stuff, I mean, I just, have my watch and it tells me how far I go, but I don't really go, oh, these ideas in our heads. That's another thing. People think like, they have these ideas about stuff. And this is like coming from within and
Yeah.
feeling it and asking how the body feels with it, that I came up with these things too. And others have, concluded. I mean, science is saying now 10,000 steps is really good. So right around that range, if you do that for a
Mhm.
long time and you're consistent with it, you'll just see everything changes in your body. If someone's a little bit older, the aches and pains go away. I'm so proud of my dad. He started getting into walking. I shared this video of the lady who's 80 and like
Nice.
fit and on raw vegan food and doing all this movement. And he started building up his walking. His energy improved. His aches and pains started going away, and all these amazing benefits started happening. So yeah, it's really good. So just remember that,
Absolutely.
walking heals and excess sitting kills, so it's super, super important. That's why I love the fitness watches. They tell you to get up every 50 minutes. And at first it's really hard. And now, even if I'm not
Oh,
wearing
wow.
my watch, I'm like right away, I want to get up and move because it feels so good. And, for those who don't remember, I used to be paralyzed and dying and everything, so I didn't have that ability to go walk and bike ride and have all this fun like normal people do. So for me, everything in life has been a real challenge, and I had to work for everything. I had to work to walk. I had to work to be healthy. I had to work extremely hard to be happy, you know? So, and it's worth it. It's worth it. This is my life. This is your life. Our health is
Yeah.
everything. So many times I meet people, they're like, oh, if I just had a little bit more health. And what did they do before that? They were partying,
Mm.
drinking, drugs, playing video games. I mean, I'm accused of playing video games all night too back in the day, you know, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I used to
So
too.
please mark that down, guys. Everyone out there, write that
Some
down
people
and
are
start
asking
getting
some
into fitness
questions.
more, start moving. I mean, we got to lift weights. I get so many women who have osteoporosis and all these problems, and they're like, oh, the guys are supposed to lift weights. No, women are supposed to lift weights and do exercises too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I learned this again recently because during the bundle and creating my book, I was doing a lot more sitting down or just standing in the kitchen, and I wasn't outside for like almost a month, you know, and I actually had taken a bit of time off skateboarding, and so I wasn't as active right during the last month and a half before the bundle. And I guess a week and a half ago, it just was really sunny for 3 days. Like spring, it felt like spring is here. And I got out in the sun and I skateboarded for 2 days. And I tell you, like the difference in just my mood and my lightness and my brightness, it was like amazing, like such a huge shift. And somebody here actually just asked about the walking. Two quick questions. They asked, do you mean walking daily? And they also asked about how far, like how long of a walk is
Yeah,
that 10,000
that's about
steps?
7, 8 kilometers. It's pretty quite a bit. And the thing is,
Okay.
I also found, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm like this research geek and I like to experiment on myself in a safe way. And I find that, you know, like people think that you can just do like, you know, they're busy people, they do like 2 hours of walking in the morning or 2 hours of fitness, and then they sit all day. It's actually better to break it down. So
Yeah.
if you do like 30 minutes of walking or
Yeah.
walking, bouncing, and something else in the morning and before lunch, and you know, maybe like in the evening for after dinner, we eat, then we sit around for half an hour, and then we go watch the sunset, and we're walking back and forth in the driveway, checking our
Yeah.
trees out. So if we move all throughout the day, that's really important. And then every hour, just get up and walk a couple minutes around your place, or go, you know, throw something in the trash, or clean up a little bit in the kitchen, or, you know, cut some branches on a tree, or whatever it is, something to just keep you moving. And it's life changing. I mean, that one thing alone is
Absolutely.
huge, but you need to do it for about 60 to
Yeah.
90 days for it to
Yeah.
become a good habit. And when you do, people like write me and they're like, I just started doing that, and it's like, you know, 100 days, and they're like, my aches, my pains, all the, you know, stress started going down. I mean, walking heals a lot. If you have
Yeah.
emotions, walk. If you feel aches and pains, you walk. I mean, not if it keeps hurting and getting worse, but you know, walking is healing. It is so healing. Yeah.
Yeah. We're designed to move, right? And a lot of people don't really recognize that if you're not moving, you're not going to be burning enough
Yeah.
calories to actually get enough nutrition. You know, like actually getting some exercise, getting that caloric demand up. And when you're eating whole foods, it means you're eating more protein, more carbohydrates, more fats, more, you know, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, flavonoids, all those kinds of things. And kind of playing off what you mentioned as well, you know, that it doesn't necessarily mean you're just going to do like, you know, 1 2 hour workout and you're done, which you know, you can do that, of course, if you're specializing and stuff. I do that sometimes going to the gym. I like to make it a little bit shorter, but
Nice.
I have my kitty here, Snooter, and she's a perfect example. You know, like animals, like look what do they do? They don't just go for a marathon. They're not just like, you know, sitting in one spot, just pumping it out nonstop. They get up,
Yeah.
they stretch, you know, they run around a little bit and then they relax and they nap. And like every time they move, they like do a big stretch and then just like a little burst of energy here, a little burst of there. And they might play for 15 minutes and then they're, you know, take a nap and chill out. And man, animals I just find are
Absolutely.
such amazing guides. And with that, I have a chin up bar here right by my kitchen. So every single time I go towards my kitchen, I just pump out 6 chin ups. You know, I'm not trying to fatigue myself and go crazy, but just do a couple, and it just little bits and bursts of activity here and there can
Nice.
make
Yeah,
a
I just did a
huge
28
difference.
workout pumping my dumbbells and pull up bar push-ups and everything. Yeah, it's so important
Nice.
to have that exercise routine, and because that will keep you younger and happier, and emotions will be balanced, hormones will be balanced. I mean, it's just all the animals out there. This is why I love also, like you said, the animals. I look to animals for tips, you know. That's another one. Like
Yeah.
we have chickens because our neighbors said that they don't lay eggs anymore and they're getting old. And they said, if we don't want them, they're going to put them in the soup. And I literally almost fell over and I said, well, I don't really want chickens, but if I'm going to save, you know, their lives, let's put them in our yard. And next thing you know, they eat all the bugs and they go in the tree. As soon as the sun starts setting, they're getting closer and closer to the tree and they go way up in the tree for the night, you know. So I learn a lot from the birds and the animals. We have a cat, and you know, they teach a lot, and they don't have these misconceptions, or they don't have misinformation, or they've been learning something, you know, wrong. They get this intuition, they get this you know, instinct. And that's what I want people to also feel, like when you come from your heart and you know, you get in there. I mean, the mind is good and everything. We learn a lot and it processes things, but we have to, I mean, science is also saying we have three minds. We have it in our head, we have in our heart, and in our gut. And when those three are aligned, just magic happens, you know, magic actually happens. So that's important.
Absolutely. We have a comment here saying, so many in the healing community recommend not to exercise during detox. And I mean, I'll briefly say one thing. If you're actually doing like a water fast, you know, then yeah, actually resting and complete rest. But what would you have to say about that separate from, you know, separate from water fasting, if you're just
That's
detoxing,
where a
maybe a
lot
little
of
bit into
people get
that?
into trouble. I mean, I can't tell you how many clients over the last
Yeah.
4.5 years were like, oh, they're doing this cleanse, this juice cleanse, and they don't do any movement. And how is this stuff supposed to get out of their system? The lymph system does not move. It's not like our heart that pumps the blood around. The lymph system, when you're moving your arms up and down and your legs are moving, that's squeezing. That's like a bag when you have your, you know, your banana smoothie in a bag. To squeeze that banana goo out of the bag, you got to squeeze it. So we got to move. I mean, so many people are messing up
Yeah.
on that. And even fasting, I mean, when my wife Reny did a 40-day fast, I was telling her no moving, and she still did like little, you know, 30-second walks a few times a day just to move a little bit. I mean, yeah, you know, so
For sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's important to note too, like
Yeah.
the body is always detoxing, you know, like we don't have to like do a detox. Live a lifestyle that naturally brings your body into balance, you know, bring that whole lifestyle together so that your body can detoxify itself at a rate that is comfortable and isn't going to make you go crazy. You know, sometimes I see people so focused on detox and trying to get from, you know, standard American to breatharian or something in one week. And, you know, they're running themselves ragged by going on really, really intense protocols that can make them want to pull their hair out and, you know, lose weight and go through so many detoxification symptoms way more
That's a
strongly than they
big
need to
danger.
be.
I mean, there's people who've passed away doing this, sadly, and for some reason, people find me at the last moment when they're
Yeah.
already going through these crazy protocols and stuff. And there's so many people who are doing these crazy cleanses and stuff, and they're losing their teeth, hair is falling out, they're dropping all their weight, their skin and bones, and they somehow got this idea that they got to just detoxify it all. And this is a huge mistake. This is a huge mistake. There's a famous lady who was in the movement who was a detox specialist, young, passed away. Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't want to say all these names and things, but I see so
Yeah.
many people making this mistake. And if you're watching, or if you're out there and you're thinking you got to detox and nothing's going to heal in your body until you lose completely all your weight, until you're so low of energy, people pass away on this. This is why this kind of thing is getting a bad rep out there, because people are actually screwing things up. They're screwing their bodies up. They're not listening to themselves. They're not listening to nature, God. They're completely going against everything. And they're not even listening to doctors, which is good in a way, but not good, because the doctor would right away say, oh, you're doing this extreme thing and it's dangerous. And it is actually. So I like to be gentle and loving on the body. You know, when I did my detoxing, it was gentle, you know. It's just, you got to be loving and be kind to yourself and not push too hard. And you know what, if you don't like raw food, go vegan then. Do something else if you don't like it. I mean, there's so many people who push themselves to like, oh, I got to do this because it's the best thing for me. You got to listen to yourself. What's the best for you? But definitely try it. If someone eats raw food for a year, they do it correctly, they eat it well balanced. And yeah, we also want to go into that question earlier, like, I don't know, about 10 minutes earlier, you said, Chris, like if my diet has changed over the years. Not really.
Yeah. Can I add one quick thing in here? I just want to quickly mention, let's make sure we come right back to that. I really like something that your wife Reny said yesterday when I was talking with her, because a lot of times in many circles, people talk about how, you just eat fruit, and that greens or fats, they stop detoxification. And, Reny kind of got into the point that greens are actually really integral in the detoxification process for certain enzymatic things in the liver. And if you're not eating any greens, you're actually going to have a harder time with detox because your body isn't able to process it through the right pathways and detoxify it in a more stable, safe manner. So I think that's just so important for people to recognize that, greens don't slow detox. They just really actually help make it smoother and are a really good balancing addition.
Exactly,
to
100%. I'm glad I can scratch that part off my list. I have a little bit more to add to that, but yeah, it's so important to, well balanced. That's another thing. I find all these people who end up, trying the raw food diet for a little while, and right away diets don't really work. So when you make this a lifestyle, like we were talking earlier, when you're walking, we didn't talk about sleep, but when you're going to bed early, when you're waking up, and you do all these natural things, when you get sun, I mean, we could go on for days and not cover it all. That's why we're putting out in programs and things so people can get all this information. But basically, the well-balanced part is that we want to have, yes, fruits. Lots of fruits are good. You want to have a variety of fruits, but then you need to eat your greens. You got to have your veggies. I can't tell you how many people who wanted to avoid fat completely, and then next you know, they fall off the path and they go back eating meat because they don't have the right stuff in their body. They don't get the right balance. I mean, we can't just do fruit and no fat at all, and then next you know, our nerve sheet starts getting thin, and then we get irritated and the body starts falling apart. The organs are not functioning. The liver, needs a little bit of fat to go through there to cleanse. So when we're not eating balanced, we start to fall apart, and this is why people end up leaving the movement. And it's so sad to see, because if they just would know that, and also specifically omega-3s, chia, flax, hemp, to have a variety of those nuts and seeds and soaked. I mean,
awesome.
I got friends who oh, I don't like chia, I don't like flax, it's all kind of gooey, and next you know, they fall off and they go back to eating fish and stuff, so it's like,
and you don't have to eat a bowl full of flax. You can just put a tablespoon in a smoothie or in a salad dressing, and then you don't even notice the flavor or anything like that. I mean, I love hemp. I'll be honest, I could just eat a handful. It's probably my favorite tasting fat out there that I always feel really great when I eat it. But most of the time I just throw it in dressing. It's so easy to just put a tablespoon in there,
a lot of
right?
people, I love avocados too, but a lot of people eat those, and there's very little omega-3 in there, and it's mostly omega-6. So you have to balance that out. I find a lot of people too who eat this high fat, and they're eating a lot of omega-6s, and they run into those health problems. So again, from the bottom of my heart, if you eat balanced, if you eat a huge variety of fruits, huge variety of greens, and all the different veggies. I mean, I eat sweet potato raw and all these veggies, and people how can you eat that raw? So we have all these recipes, and sometimes I did live in programs with people, and someone would say, oh, but I love my, baked sweet potato. And I tell them all the things why I wouldn't do this baked sweet potato versus the raw potato. It's not going to taste good. I whip up that soup or that stew, and they're like, I want to eat this all again. Can I have it for breakfast? I'm all, no, let's do the fruits for breakfast. Let's make it for dinner again if you want, or we can try something. No, let's have the same. I mean, people just flip out over it, so you got to have that balance of the veggies and everything. And also in the summertime, it's you want to eat more fruit because you're more active. In the wintertime, you want to eat more veggies, more root stuff, maybe a little bit higher fat, go up to 20%, in the wintertime. A typical thing I find is that people will say like, oh, I'm cold. Their hands, their feet are cold. This is not enough calories. And also in the wintertime, if they're not eating enough fats, they're not having that warm hands inside. I can't tell you how many, I don't wear shoes like in the wintertime. Mind you, it only snows once in a while, but I mean, it bites your toes. If you're not well balanced and you have good circulation, it would bite your toes. But people in town think I'm poor because I don't have socks and shoes on. I'm like, I want my feet to breathe. I want to feel the temperature out there. I want to connect with the earth, you know? And so it's so important. I mean, these are just like ideas and concepts people will think, but when you implement this stuff and when you start moving forward with all these things, your life will change for the better. You'll be so happy, so healthy. Yeah, should we get to that question about my diet?
Yeah, let's do that. And I'll just mention to there's a couple of people commenting here. Tiliona, that's awesome. She just mentioning her kids now are eating lots of fruits and vegetables, and now they stopped eating eggs and fish, and they think it's gross. And she was also asking, can you give a list of those best fats that you had mentioned
Yeah.
before? And
Yeah,
then
well,
let's get
all of the
into your, how your
plant-based
diet has
fats are
changed.
good, but I mean, I do chia, flax, hemp. Those are my main ones for the seeds, and I'll eat walnuts, almonds. I mean, I eat them all basically, and you know, variety. Like for instance, it's so funny you were talking about hemp. I haven't had hemp for months, and Rainey just threw some in dinner last night. I'm like, whoa, that's so good
Yeah.
because we ran out of the other stuff, you know. So having that variety, your body goes, whoa,
Yeah.
oh, it's so good. See, when you have all this variety all the time, your gut flora and your microbiome is in balance. There's no issues there at all. But if you start avoiding some of these fruits and veggies for long, long periods of time, next you know you're going to be gassy. You might be bloating. All these things happen. And go, oh, raw food is so hard to digest, or it's not. This is baloney. I mean, so many people out there think that, but when you fine tune things, when you eat simple, when you know live according to nature with God's laws, everything kind of comes into balance, and it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, here's my 25th year, and honestly, I would say I wish I could plateau and something with, but no, I'm all the time learning, all the time upgrading,
Yeah.
and it just gets better and better. And I'm just like so passionate. Like the first few months, I'm just as passionate as it is, you know, 25 years later. It's just such a beautiful path, and it's simple, really. It's simple when you start doing the right things. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always other
Yeah.
aspects of the whole lifestyle to really go into and to explore and to shift as your perspective and your goals shift, right? Like all these things can shift. And just because you mentioned that sweet potato, I wanted to actually briefly mention I saw that Reny had her recipe on Chef AJ's channel. And so on YouTube, Reny just had a brand new recipe that has a
Yeah.
acorn squash or not acorn, butternut squash in it, I believe, a butternut squash soup. So butternut squash soup. So that's on Chef Asia channel. If anyone wants to check out one of the recipes from your guys' new course, it's a part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. Anyone who's new here, Jesse and I both have our newest stuff in the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle with 40 total items in there for just $50. It's like $1,850 worth of stuff. And you can grab that in Jesse's link in his bio or in mine. And it's only if you're here to the 11th. And it's seriously, you'll be blown away. It's totally crazy. It speaks for itself. We don't have to go into it too much because if you just check it out, your
Yeah,
mind
there's
will
a
go
video
bam.
on that page.
No
You can
brainer,
see all the
seriously.
stuff. That's honestly the resource I wish I had back in the day, because when you get in touch with all those people, you get all these different recipes. You don't get bored with things. You got, oh, I mean, there's yoga in there. There's all kinds of stuff to learn in there. It's really good. I'm so grateful to be a part of this again and share this information with everybody. But yeah, another tip I wanted to say, yeah, someone I just saw that said, do we soak our nuts and seeds? Yes, that's absolutely important to soak your nuts and seeds, because I studied like with everyone out in the movement, you know, Doug Graham, Lou Corona, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And, you know, for 20 years, I've been studying with everybody out there. And like I was talking with Lou a couple of years ago, and he said the guy that's got that, I forget what the name of the book is, but like sprouting, it talks about sprouting your nuts and seeds and stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, Lou and him are about the
Steve
same
Merowitz?
age, and Lou looks so much better. And he asked the guy, he says, do you always soak your nuts and seeds and sprout them? He says, no, lately I've been getting lazy on that and I haven't. And Lou goes, bam, there's the difference. If you go back to soaking your nuts and seeds and stuff, it'll slow down the aging process.
That's awesome. She's mentioning here, what if it comes in a powder form? So like, what if you had, say, like hemp powder or like, you know, almond powder, almond flour or something? Would you want to soak that, or would you
You could
just,
just put
what
it
would you
in
think
water
about
when you're
that?
making it, but here's the thing: you want to have stuff fresh, whole as possible, because, like, for instance,
Yeah.
flax seeds, you can buy it like ground up, and it doesn't have the power that the fresh stuff has. I mean, this is the gauge. If you
Yeah.
garden, like for me, I go out there and I garden and I pick something right from the garden. I've actually done an experiment where I got down on my hands and knees like a, goat or something, and I took a bite, and I'm like, whoa, there was like electricity running through my body. It was so powerful, Chris. It was like, it blew my mind. Someone told me
Yeah.
about that. And then versus when we just pick a greens 3 hours later and put them in a salad, there's a huge difference there. So when you have food in its whole form, when you have it as fresh as possible, that's the problem. The flaxseed can go rancid and all these nuts and seeds and stuff. So you want to have high
Yeah.
sources. You want to make
Exactly.
sure they're raw. You got to really do the research. I mean, like when I buy flax seeds from a new person the first time, or hemp, I try to sprout them, and I just buy. I'm all like, can I have a spoon sample? And they're like, oh, for free, for you. It's like free. So I take that spoon home and I see if it sprouts. Sometimes they don't sprout at all, maybe one or two. And I'm like, oh, it's not raw, or it's been sitting too long, and I don't buy that batch. So yeah, definitely. The
Yeah.
more natural we do things, the better off we're going to be.
Absolutely. No, it makes a big difference. And I know, for example, that rancid nuts and seeds, they often do smell or they taste a little bit off, but when you powder stuff, the oxidization there's just so much more chance that it's going to be rancid. So, and oftentimes it's more expensive too, because it had to go through a process, right? So better just to get it whole yourself and either grind it yourself
Yeah,
or throw it in a recipe,
absolutely.
just
And
throw it
my
in the
mom had
blender.
a trick. She used to like love macadamia nuts, and she would get some that are a bit rancid. They were raw. We knew they were raw, but they were a bit
Mm.
rancid. And she's all like, I'm not going to throw
Yeah.
those away. I'm going to soak them for like 3 days and change the water. And then she says, try one. And it went from yellow to all
Mm.
white. And I tried it,
Mm.
and like the rancidity oil started coming off of it, and they were like ready to go. And we put one in the ground, and it actually
Nice.
grew. So, that,
Wow.
yeah, so we kind of brought it back
Wow.
to
That's pretty
life.
cool.
So this is the thing. I mean, water is so good.
Mm.
Yeah, soaking.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. The
absolutely.
universal solvent.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what about your diet? You said it's changed. It hasn't changed a lot over the last 25 years, but
Yeah,
there's something a little
absolutely.
bit more you wanted
I
to go
mean, when you
into with that.
find the tools and when you find that balance, that's the thing, when you find that, that's something that really works. I mean, like in the beginning, I found that I knew to have the fruits, the greens, the veggies, and the fats, and you kind of balance yourself in that range, and you feel really good. And then I started going to
Mhm.
potlucks started happening, and we were putting on potlucks, and people were making all this fatty stuff, and I would come home and I'm like, oh, I feel so heavy.
Mhm.
And the next day I like, oh man, I'm gonna skip my workouts. Yeah,
Nut
so
coma.
you learn as you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you have that balance, I mean, for me, how do I tell people about greens? Look outside the window. What is the number one
Mm.
color you see? I'm looking outside my window, I see green and brown because the carob trees are right there, but then I see the green hill, the green garden, everything is green. So just remember that. Nice.
I just see yellow. I
Oh
just see
yeah,
yellow
yeah.
because the apartment next to
You
me.
gotta eat some more bananas then. So yellow melon soon. Yeah. No, but seriously, I mean, the
Exactly.
greens make a big difference.
Yeah, I
Yeah, we
know.
want to have healthy hair, healthy teeth.
Absolutely.
We want to, feel our best. We're not, this is not some kind of lifestyle where we get on it and next, we start feeling horrible. For me, it was like
Yeah.
instantly within a couple weeks of being on this lifestyle, everything started improving. And then, I hit that big detox, and they call it like a healing crisis where I felt horrible. The body was finally getting everything it needed. The intestines were flowing good, stuff was coming out that's been stuck there for years. And then I felt horrible for like 48 hours. And then I never looked back on that. I was, I don't know if anyone else is eating, but I don't know if I should get into that, but it was yucky what stuff came out and what happened with me. It was, ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's pretty
yeah, yeah.
crazy what can happen, man. Absolutely. Yeah, someone's just mentioned they're vegan for 7 years and they started to feel really bad for 2 years and then they switched to animal products and felt like a new person. And I'll just briefly say that there's so many different ways of doing a vegan diet. And like we mentioned before, you know, unless you have your whole lifestyle in check and you actually know what you're doing with the food, you can feel bad on a vegan diet, but it doesn't mean that you have to or that everyone does. And in fact, if you actually do it in a really healthful, balanced way, you can feel amazing and not really require those animal products. And my heart just goes out to them, because to me, that is a really challenging and hard and sad thing to hear, because I can only imagine if you're a vegan for 7 years, to go back on that would break your own heart and be so damn challenging physically, mentally, emotionally. And I'm very happy that you feel better, but just really want to put forth the question, is it possible that there were some things you were missing on the vegan diet that you just weren't aware of, you know? And I've seen that time and time again, that when you really problem solve, there is no reason to step away from veganism if you can really fine tune someone who knows exactly what they're doing.
The same.
How
I mean,
about
you
yourself,
really have
Jesse?
to dig in and look at stuff, and that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I do. I mean, I'm all the time analyzing my own lifestyle and things and looking into things. And people, it's like when we're in our own bodies, it's really hard unless you've done things for a long time to really pinpoint things. And this is why I love coaching and offering that. And that's why I got coaches in the beginning, and I learned from others. I mean, I like to learn from others, someone who's doing it way longer than me. But to get back to that person and people in general, I can't tell you, Chris, how many people are messaging me, wanting to talk to me about that they're getting off the path and, you know, back to animals and stuff. And the thing is, the animal foods has a lot of this stuff dense in there. See, so in the raw vegan food, it's a little bit more tricky to get all that stuff. But if you eat, like I said, if you eat a lot of different fruits, all the different types of veggies, and you're eating a lot of the omega-3 fats, you're eating some omega-6 fats, you're exercising, you're sleeping. I mean, I got people who are eating, you know, like only meat and things, and they come to me and they're like feeling weak and certain things are happening. And then I look at them, they're like staying up all night. They're not doing fitness. They're doing all these other things. They're like, I don't even want to go into all that, but it's sad to me, because it's just, if they would have just fine-tuned it a little bit and done a few things. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, if we want to heal and be healthy, we have to have the whole lifestyle implemented. And it's just like, for instance, I will go on the sleeping one real quick, because I got people who eat really well. Me too. Even if I'm eating this nice diet that I love, 25 years, thriving, so happy, if I don't get enough sleep, I'm not going to feel good the next day. It's just period. Although I can run on 3 hours. I mean, I can do 3 hours for a few days and be completely fine. But guess what? That's borrowing my future time. That's bringing my age, my goal of living long time. That slowly starts knocking it down. See, we have a life force in us. And when we're a baby, it's pure, it's strong, especially if the mother and the father did the right things. Like Lily is such a ball of energy and doing everything, you know, correctly. And we all had that in the beginning. But then we got into staying up late. We got into all these processed foods. We got into, you know, getting injections. We got health procedures that were, you know, compromising ourselves, and all the downward spiral into all these things. And then we wonder why some people are not thriving and not happy, you know? So it's really important to have that balance of stuff. I'm sure if someone wrote me and they said they, you know, got off this path, I'm sure I could find the things. And there's also emotional parts too. There's a lot of things where a person's childhood was never healed. They had a problem with their mom or their dad or their relative, or they were bullied in school, or they had a big heartbreak. This will affect their whole life unless they get that emotion cleared. That's why I like my good friend, Dr. Bradley Nielsen, who works with emotions, and he's got a book called The Emotion Code, and that helped me a lot. Yeah, he came up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He came on our cruise, and that's a bit emotional, all that stuff, because I had a lot of emotions to get out, and he cleared that for me. I was suffering for years from emotions of losing a family member, and I couldn't deal with it. Even though I never got off my path, you know, when I lost my brother, it was just like, whoosh, we did everything together. We traveled, we did all this stuff, helped people, did live-in programs. And for many years, for 4 or 5 years, I was dealing with that, and it was so hard. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with me? You know, am I missing something? What's going on? And then when I found out that it's the emotions inside of me, and I didn't deal with that, because emotions are energy. and we are energy at the core. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 110%, man. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I feel for you, brother. That's intense. You know, I have actually some current stuff that I just had found out my sister is ill and was just having surgery yesterday, and so love and support, and we're all going through this kind of stuff. It's crazy in these days and ages. You know, most people are dying of one thing, but they have two or three other things or more that would have killed them if that first thing didn't get them, right? And that's why this message is so powerful and so important. And you know, I think that most people have the tendency to think that they know more than they do, you know, and, you know, to think that they have everything together and that there's no possibility that they could have done something wrong. But oftentimes it does just take the insight of somebody from an outside perspective that has seen it all, has seen a lot, and knows how to read blood work, or, you know, knows how to really analyze the entire lifestyle and all the different components to go in. And what may not be clear to us can be clear to other people. And it's just, it's such a blessing though, right? Just to be able to shine this light and to help others and to share this knowledge that
That's
can
what
help
we're
people
all
help
here
themselves.
for. I mean, every one of us. I mean, I know whoever it is, wherever they are, when you go and help somebody in any way, even if there's a lady that needs a package carried or someone's car breaks down and you're like the only one who will stop and go and jump them, you know, because it's late at night or something. I mean, you can help somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 110%, man. I have a friend who has a really, really cool song that the essence of it essentially is like, if you feel like you have a bunch of problems, find somebody you can help, you know? And it's like, through helping you raise yourself up, and then, you know, they can help you in turn, and the whole world just goes round that way, right? By having an open heart and helping others whenever we can, as long as, you know, we're not so thin that we need to really just focus on ourselves at a moment. But yeah, it's really, really amazing. We got Enzyme in the house. I'm gonna be going live with him in an hour from now. Really stoked. I'm making his
I saw
manicotti right now, so I'll be
that in your
sharing that
reel.
in his
Sounds
live
good.
at yeah, man, it's gonna be really good. I'm super excited. I just got to roll it up and put it all together, so super excited for that. Yeah, Leona's saying we don't know what we don't know, and it's
That's
true.
why when we raise our energy up, and when we raise our vibration and our awareness, that's the biggest thing. When you become aware of stuff, like when someone tells you that's impossible, break it up. I'm possible. It's possible. There's always a way out of it. You know, that leads me to my saying that I came up with. You know, every solution has multiple problems. I mean, listen to me. Every problem has multiple solutions. You know, so no matter what it is, if it's a health problem, if it's a life problem, if it's a relationship challenge, whatever the challenge is, there's always multiple ways to deal with it and to get out of that mess. I mean, that's why, you know, we're dealt these lessons to become stronger and to enjoy this, you know, human experience while we're here, you know, and help others every day. That's my thing. It's like I do not go to bed unless I'm helping others. It's just that's what keeps me going, you know. Yeah.
It's so awesome, man. You're a blessing to everyone in doing that and showing that you're like living directly from the heart, and what that can do and how that can lift you up, right, and benefit you as well. It's such a beautiful thing, you know. And yeah, there was something that I was just thinking about there along those lines of it'll come back.
And the other part of that is to just like never, ever, 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 ever give up. Whatever you're facing, whatever challenge, or someone says you can't live there, or you know, you can never have that car, or you can never have that dream, or you can never climb that mountain, or you know, you'll never walk again. I mean, as soon as we start taking on someone's beliefs, that's as high as we get to go. So we have to get rid of these beliefs and saying, I can heal, I'm worthy. We have to love ourselves. We got to be kind to ourselves, not push too hard. You know, a lot of people and clients are like pushing so hard to do everything perfectly, and that's in itself is a mess. I mean, there's no really perfect way to do everything, but when you're going in the right directions, your body opens up, you get more clarity. This is what I love about this lifestyle. It just cleans out the mind. You become super focused. You can feel your body more. If you go spend time out in nature, which we do every day, and you know, get barefoot out there and touch some trees, plant a tree in springtime, answers will come. If If you go to the forest, put your phone in airplane mode, you will hear things, you will feel vibrations, you will be connected with the people or the things or whatever is needed in your life. It's so abundant. Everything just flows and comes. And I wouldn't believe this, 30 years ago. I would not believe all this stuff, but I just kept pounding the books in and opening my mind, cleaning the body, eating nice, exercising, going to bed early. That's a big one. Again, we love to go to bed by 8-ish. Sometimes with the bundle, we're going to 9, and sometimes we stay up until midnight. But as a rule, we try to go to bed at 8, get up at, 4 or 5, and then you have so much more time during the day. And when you sleep well, most of the health problems go away. Most of the issues go away. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, I can't do this path anymore, or this is not working. And I find out that they're just sleeping on 4 hours a day. And this is the quickest way to develop cancer, brain issues, weakness, and then you have extreme cravings because your body wants something to stimulate you because you ran out of all your own resources. So there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to that.
Absolutely. I wanted to mention someone is asking about DAN or enzyme. Our lives in an hour, so that's at 10 a.m. PST. And what I was thinking about before that slipped my mind, what you were talking about was how there are multiple solutions to any problem, right? And oftentimes we can think, or we can do something one way and think, well, this is the only way and everyone should do it this way. And it's really invaluable to have the insight of people who have seen things solved in multiple ways, to have that open-minded approach of, yeah, if this way leads you to less stress and to really more keenly enjoying that process, that's going to be beneficial in your health journey, while at the same time saying, you know what, I've seen 20 people do this 15 different ways, but this way is usually the most streamlined, and it may be something you want to consider so that you can make this easier on yourself. And I mean, to me, that is one of the big kind of things about your course here, autopiloting raw food success, right? It's from both of your experiences, over 45 years of raw food experience, or right around 45 years of raw food experience, seeing what you found really works the best and optimizing that for people and streamlining it to make the whole beginning journey, or even just fine tuning if you've been on this for a while, a heck of a lot easier and smoother.
That's exactly true. And yeah, like I said, we want to help as many people as we can so they feel happy. And that's the bottom line. So it's like, my thing is, back when I first started it, I changed my email address and everything and my names and stuff. And it's like, be happy. That's my motto, is to be, whatever you're doing, be happy, or get
Jesse,
to
be happy.
Being happy. That's the thing in life. I mean, we're here to be happy, where our birthright is to be healthy, and we need to help humanity and help ourselves and do anything that we want, as long as it's for our highest good and the good of the planet, the universe, God, nature, others are going to be the force of good with us in that direction. If we're doing good for the world, there's all this dark stuff that's happening out there, and that's not going to get far at the end of the day. So, we want to be happy, and that's the best thing. When you help someone overcome their little challenges, big challenges, or you help them to shift out of a job they don't like, or whatever it is that they don't like, be happy. If raw food doesn't agree with you, or you don't like it, don't do it. Be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such an important message, right? It's like, there's nothing you have to do, right? It's just, what are your goals and what is it going to take to get to those, and how can you do that in a way that you actually enjoy it, and that you can smile and feel good about what you're doing. Because you can be on a raw food diet, we're not talking lifestyle, raw food diet, and eating the healthiest stuff, but if you genuinely just don't like it, if you're not enjoying it, I mean, one, either talk to someone and see if you can shift it, or two, shift it into, like you said, into simple cooked vegan food, or whatever it is that allows you to really enjoy it and steadily move in a direction at a speed that feels best for you.
I mean, so many people are not enjoying things, and then we give them new recipes or tell them to get the bundle, and they're a couple months later, they're like, oh, I'm enjoying it now. And that's my last thing. I also wanted to say that with fruits, it's really an art, and you have to get the ripest fruit, and you have to know when a banana is truly ripe, then it feels good. I mean, I got so many clients in the beginning, they're like, I'm eating 4 bananas and I feel sick and awful. And then I look at the bananas they're eating and they're still green, they're starchy, they're going to be hard to digest, they're going to cause bloating. But when you get the nice ripe ones, when they start to kind of open up and they're starting to get spots on there, it is so tasty and good. It's amazing. So it's really an art, and it takes time. I would say that's where a lot of investment comes in, to learn how to, you know, put the right stuff in your house and get fruits everywhere and stuff. And that's also an autopilot or program to help people with that, because that's really, really important. I mean, it makes the biggest difference if you're eating like a ripe melon or one that's a little bit green and next you know your mouth is burning. Or classical is, oh, people say, I hate persimmons. They make your mouth all puckery and yucky and it burns all the way down. Of course, if it's green, if it's not fully ripe and mushy and yucky looking, the persimmon is not ready for us.
No, absolutely. Fruit ripeness is so important. And, you know, like just having that know-how, it's funny, right? Because, you know, having been around the block and doing this for such a long time, it's just second nature. And a lot of these things seem incredibly simple. And, you know, you could probably on paper write down, like, these are the 10 things, right? But into practice and actually bringing into your lifestyle, it takes time. You know, it takes some learning and some unlearning, and it takes patience and oftentimes a helping hand. And that's where things like this, the bundle and all these lives, are so invaluable, because they give the insights of people who have walked that for a long time and can really simplify it. So I was just asking why I'm drinking from my Vitamix containers, just because it was a full Vitamix container when we started this. No one guessed what the smoothie was, but it was a honeydew orange or honeydew mandarin smoothie, one of my favorites. So good. And I put a couple drips of vanilla in there, which was ridiculous, but absolutely. So if you were to say what you think the number one secret is for you know, for success with a raw food lifestyle, what would you say it is?
Well, do the whole lifestyle. Because I mean, that's the thing. It's all, it goes into so many things. And the more you dig into this stuff, the more you see. It's like, you know, there's mindset, there's all these aspects of it. But the thing is to really be happy, to be, for me, I didn't have my health in the beginning before I even found this path. It was life and death situation. And for me, it was like, what is, like, why am I even here? What am I doing? Why is I'm all this suffering? I'm in constant 24/7 pain. You know, it's like, I don't even want to be here, you know? So it's like, be happy. It's like, you know, we can have, be, and do anything we want. And that's the thing. If we really grasp that, if we get the mindset, I mean, there's other people who have been paralyzed, and like in the Secret movie, when they have that mindset, they're like, I'm gonna walk again. Like me, I had that idea. The Secret, it wasn't even out then, but it's like, I'm gonna, you know, I'm not gonna listen to these doctors and they say that I'm gonna die by the time I'm 13. I'm just not gonna listen to that. You know, it was breaking my heart, and it was, my parents had to read all kinds of emotional books and mindset books and things to keep me trying to, you know, get past that. And that's the thing, is if we have limiting beliefs, or if someone tells us something and we believe that, that's what our outcome is going to be. So we are magical beings. I mean, we can do anything we want. And I've seen miraculous things heal, but it takes a lot of work. When things get really out of balance, it takes a lot of work. But to get to your question, I mean, I don't know, the biggest secret is to be happy in life. And, you know, we're only here for a limited amount of time. And it's like, what is the most important to each one of you? That's the thing you got to ask yourselves. For me, it's to be healthy. It's to be of service. It's to have a family. Thank you, Reny. Thank you, Lily. That part is fulfilled. Now to watch her grow, to, you know, create things. I mean, I want to have like 8 retreat centers around the world. I actually want to have our own cruise. I want to buy like a sailboat one day that's completely solar. They're out now. They're finally solar, so we don't have to pollute the ocean. But I don't know if I can do that. I cannot do that alone. That's why we need everyone together to help us. And I know your mission too, Chris, is to have a bunch of retreats and everything. So it's just about making the world a better place and feeling so happy inside. I had so much pain, so much health challenges. I mean, I don't even want to go there anymore because it would just bring me to tears again. But I'm free from that now, and it's just great. I can move, I can dance, and that's why I also love my standing desk, to be moving around. And, you know, I learned that from our little one. She just cannot sit still. She wants to be up and moving. And when she sits,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing. Her posture is perfect, just like a straight arrow. I
Yeah.
mean, learning so much from her. It's just like, and that's the thing. What does little Lily want? She wants to be happy. What does it take to be happy? Well fed with beautiful nutrition, movement, good sleep,
Yeah.
going to the bathroom, having all the elimination organs working, and doing something fun and being in that moment like she does.
Yeah.
And the laughs that she makes, it's pure bliss. I've never seen anything like it. It's so beautiful. And then it brings me back to childhood and remembering that that's what we all want. We want to be happy. We want to be free. We want to be able to do yoga poses or stretching that we can bend our body and do things with our body and active and moving. And, I'm still working on that. I can't do all these certain poses and things, but I mean, that's not slowing me down. I mean, I'm happy where I'm at, but I'm always looking for that next level too. There's always something we can upgrade, but bottom line, what is it? It's be happy. That's what we want 24/7, to be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Having a full heart. And when you were talking about your wee one, I was thinking that she probably has the fullest heart ever with you and Reny as her parents, and living out in that beautiful place. It's amazing. And the only thing I'd add on to that too is, if your goal is specifically with like raw food and stuff like that, is really good information. Like that can make all the difference. And having a course like yours and all the other information, the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, can really help fine tune that and give people a really good guideline, right? And really good information and recipes to help them out on their path, to make it even easier to be happy and healthy and all connected and balanced in this whole lifestyle, not just raw food. It's about an entire lifestyle. So I just want to thank you again, Jeese, so much for coming on here, man, and for chilling out with me and everyone here who's been
Absolutely.
listening for the last hour and a little bit, and for being a part of the bundle. Just always a pleasure, hanging out and seeing each other and connecting like this. And is there anything else you kind of want to mention
That's
before
about
we
it. I don't know if you have
bid
any
this adieu?
chance to look at any of the questions that came or anything. But
I mostly
okay.
I brought them into the moment when there was, so we did kind of cover those, which is really good. And I do actually have to get ready for my next in a little bit because I need to make my dinner before that one. So, but it's been amazing, brother, and I hope that we get to connect here in the next little bit
Yeah.
and see each other again 3D. I just realized it's been like a year and a half since we
Yeah,
actually
that
got
would
to
be
hang out.
great.
So hopefully
Yeah,
again
come
soon.
this way anytime. Yeah, that would be nice to see you. And yeah, for everyone, I mean, that's like in the beginning of the talk. This is going to be on Chris's wall, I guess on my wall too, in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So you can go back and watch the
Yeah.
beginning and, get out there in the community, start connecting with people in the bundle, and like follow our 2 pages on Instagram and social media. And that way you can start the process. Because I know a lot of lonely people out there that are looking for partners or looking to share this beautiful lifestyle with, because their other family members are not, or they're all alone. Don't have to be anymore. The social media has connected everyone, and it's such a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you,
Absolutely.
bro.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you,
again,
everybody, for
brother. And I
watching.
hope
Lots of
that
love and one
you
to
three
everybody
have an
out there.
amazing night.
Wishing everybody the absolute best, highest, happiest time of their life, and enjoy spring, and just keep enjoying life and moving forward. That's the thing. I never looked back too. It's just like I never looked back. That's the thing. Yeah.
This is a perfect jump start into spring, brother. Just, yeah, looking forward and living in the moment with our heart open and
All
happiness
right,
on the
guys,
agenda.
gals,
I love
everyone.
it.
Thank you so much for coming, Chris. Take care. Lots of love to your family and everyone. See you soon,
Thank you,
all.
brother. Thank you
Okay, bye
so
bye.
much. Much love, guys. Bye-bye. See you, Jess.